Okay, welcome everyone. My name's
Hi.
Eloisa Ramos. Hi,
Good morning,
Larry.
Eloisa. Good
Good
morning.
morning. I'm here with my friend Larry. So, together we are continuing with the text of the Course in Miracles. And we are on the last section of chapter 21, the inner shift. But we're going to go just uh, to the previous section, the last unanswered question, because we're going to read the last paragraph because the next section picks up from this paragraph. So I want it to be a little easier to understand. Okay, number 13. Elusive happiness or happiness in changing form, okay, that shifts with time and place is an illusion that has no meaning. Happiness must be constant because it is attained by giving up the wish for the inconstant. Joy cannot be perceived except through constant vision, and constant vision can be given only those who wish for constancy. The power of the Son of God's desire remains the proof that he is wrong who sees himself as helpless. Desire what you want, and you will look on it and think it real. No thought but has the power to release or kill, and none can leave the thinker's mind or leave him unaffected. Okay, so this paragraph is referring back to what this section was about, okay, which was the last unanswered question, okay, which was this fourth question up here. Let's see, one, two, three, four. And do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? The other ones were, do I desire a world I rule instead of one that rules me? Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? So this was about being clear with our intention of what it is that we want to see, because remember that our mind is powerful, and what we believe we make real to ourselves. That's what we are going to project and manifest as our experience in the world. So this is saying your mind is causal, and so your desire is what you're going to manifest. Okay. So you have to be very clear in answering these questions uh, because the world that we see is going to be the result either of our desire to see truth or desire to see illusion. Okay. And and it's tying it to the idea of powerlessness and power, because this whole thing started with it telling us that all of mystery, line one here, paragraph one, comes from the strange belief that you are powerless. Okay. And we can't be powerless because our mind is powerful, and it is what it is let's see, it shares in the creative power of God. Okay. However, okay, if we see ourselves as powerless, we're going to reverse cause and effect, and we're going to project the power as if it was outside of us, as if it was somewhere out in the world, as if the world was separate from us. Okay. And then we're going to see ourselves as helpless. And that's what misery is. Being helpless is the cost of sin. Okay. So reversing cause and effect, okay, is the idea that our thoughts can leave the mind of the maker. That power, the power of our mind, can leave the mind of the maker, which is the same belief of separation that says that we are a sinner who is no longer like God and has left heaven. and is no longer in heaven with God. And if we're not in heaven with God, then we must not be divine or we must have changed ourselves. And that's what the belief in sin is. Okay? Okay, so so this is talking about happiness because of the idea in the last question here about um and do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth, okay? And it explained here that the last question had to do with constancy because the first three, uh, let's see, it says you may have already answered the first three questions, but not yet the last. For this one still seems fearful and unlike the others. Okay, and what it's saying is line 5. This final question, which is indeed the last one you need to decide, let's see, has to do with constancy. Okay. Let's see. Where does it say that? Uh, f- uh, 7. Forget not that the choice of sin or truth, helplessness or power is the choice of whether to attack or heal. For healing comes of power, and attack of helplessness. Okay. Whom you attack, you cannot want to heal, and whom you would have healed must be the one you choose to be protected from attack. Um, let's see. Uh, t- 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 line 9. Let's see. Paragraph 9, line 3, or line. Let's just do line 1 there. This is okay. The question before it is this what I would see? Do I want this? So anytime that we look upon the world, okay, and we see any kind of misery, all we have to do is ask ourselves, is this what I would see? Do I want this? Okay. This is your one decision. This is the condition for what occurs. It is irrelevant to how it happens, but not to why. You have control of this. And if you choose to see a world without an enemy, okay, in which you are not helpless, the means to see it will be given you. Okay. And this is why we practice forgiveness. Okay. Because in practicing forgiveness, we are answering that third question, which says, do I choose love or do I choose fear and hate? So if I choose to forgive, then I'm choosing to see a world without an enemy and to recognize that my invulnerability cannot be attacked because I am a creation of God and therefore I am not helpless. Um, okay, 10. Why is the final question so important? Let's see. Line 4. The others are decisions that can be made and then unmade and made again. But truth is constant and implies a state where vacillations are impossible. Okay. Um, so So the idea of constancy, that truth is constant, then is speaking about happiness, okay? Because several of the lessons talk about how God wants perfect happiness for us, and love and happiness are basically the same. So happiness, in order to be true happiness, uh, love must be in an must not be a changing form. So that's what this is saying. Elusive happiness or happiness in a changing form that shifts with time and place is an illusion that has no meaning. So happiness, like the truth, must be constant because it is attained by giving up the wish for the inconstant, the changing. And joy cannot be perceived except through constant vision, which is of the Holy Spirit. Um, okay, so, and constant vision can be given only to those who wish for constancy, which is the third question. So the power of the Son of God's desire remains the proof that he is wrong to see himself as helpless. Okay, So desire what you want and you will look on it and think it real. So no thought, but has the power to release or kill. To so there's two thought system. One thought system heals, which is release, and another thought system uh, is insane. So it makes sick and therefore destroys or kills. That's just what this is saying here. Okay. But none of those thoughts can leave the thinker's mind or leave him unaffected. Okay. So now we're going to go to the next section, which is the inner shift. Okay. And now and now we can understand why it's saying the first line, are thoughts then dangerous? Okay. You can read that, Larry.
Okay,
Paragraph
thank
one.
you. Number one, are thoughts then dangerous? To bodies, yes. The thoughts that seem to kill are those that teach the thinker that he can be killed, and so he dies because of what he learned. He does from life to death the final proof he valued the inconsistent more than the constancy. Surely he thought he wanted happiness, yet he did not desire it because it was the truth and therefore must be constant. Uh, I guess what I don't understand is I've experienced joy and happiness in a large amount, and I've experienced not having joy. So the constancy doesn't seem to be, I would like to be in this place of joy and happiness 100% of the time, but it doesn't. I'm guessing it's because I'm in a body or because I see something different or I really don't understand. But
So the
consistency might be when we're not here anymore, and then we'll know what the
uh
truth is.
no, the constancy is being. It's another word for being. So in other words,
As you were talking before.
yes. So in a state of being, you are happy for no reason. Okay? Meaning you're not saying, "Oh, I'm happy because I have my cup of coffee," or "I'm happy because, I see my kids and they're successful in the world and, that makes me happy." Okay. So so the so the happiness is not tied to what happens in the world or to what I accomplish or don't accomplish in the world. Um, so the constancy of truth and the constancy of happiness is that they are gifts from God, and therefore they're accessed from within and exist and are available uh, always without any kind of dependency on the quote unquote external world that we see. Um, let's see. So here, the question was referring to the previous paragraphs. Okay, did you catch that, Larry? About the happiness for no reason.
Well, what it sounds to me is that the happiness is there when I'm somehow living in a what's called truth. And if I'm not feeling happiness or joy, I must have gone to something that isn't the constant. And that's
Yeah,
because of identity with
there
separation or my body or something, right?
you must have gone to something that is disturbing your inner peace. Yes, because you're not aware of the inner peace and happiness and truth and joy that abide within.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh,
So our natural state is being love, light. Okay. So it's perfect happiness because that's how God created us. That's our natural state. And so health comes with our natural state. Okay. So whenever there is not no health, whenever there's a lack of health, there's a lack of inner peace. Something has disturbed our inner peace. Okay. So that's why this is saying, are thoughts then dangerous? And it says, yes, two bodies, yes. Because if we entertain thoughts that are fearful or attack thoughts, we are disturbing that inner peace. We are, let's see, we are becoming unaware of our true nature, okay, and are therefore uh, making or manifesting experiences of misery, which are sickness, a form of sickness. Yeah. Okay. So, so the thoughts that we entertain in our mind, the thoughts that we believe in, that we, the thoughts that we accept as true, the thoughts that we value and want to see. Um, so you have to really look at your thoughts and you want to say, well, wait a minute, do I really want to believe this thought? Because it's really, uh, sometimes we think a thought and we're like, well, wait a minute, do I want to be right about that? Because it's a very negative thought about the future, like, oh man, now look at what happened, now look at what the president did, or now look at what, so and so did. So, you know what's going to happen now? Well, there's going to be, war, there's going to be this, there's going to be so then you have to say to yourself, well, wait a minute, okay? You really want to entertain that thought? You want to be right, or would you rather be wrong and happy? Okay, because that thought is going to bring misery. If it manifests, it's going to be misery. Why would you want to manifest misery? You're only going to be unhappy. But if you want to be right, you are going to entertain those thoughts. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess I want to be right a lot of times. I don't want to be wrong.
Yes, but that's asking for unhappiness. That's misery.
I should not want to. I should, I hear what you're saying. For my individually, for me as an individual, my process, the thoughts never stop. It's constant. And so if I'm going to say, "Oh, this thought is happy, this thought is bad, this thought is limited," I'd all I'm doing is being psychoanalyzing myself all day long, and that's really hard, or it's time consuming, or it's
Okay, but Larry, you need a practice where you are able to,
let them go,
yes, because,
like meditate or something. Yeah,
well, yes, because the the thoughts have power. That's what this is saying.
I know. That's why I
Okay, so
understand. Yeah, I
so
understand that.
so we want to be able to stay in a place of peace, and that means present moment where there are no thoughts.
I've gone my whole life where I didn't know anything because I was just being. And I was just meandering through life. And then I've heard, dear God, how do I do this? What's the next thing I should do? And I always relied on the thoughts that had come. I would
Hmm.
lie down and sleep and think things over, what my next step would be, how to survive, whatever it
Yeah.
is I had to survive.
Okay.
And the next thought always came to how to do it. So I became conditioned to trust my
Okay.
thoughts. And my thoughts though are then they never slow down. And to eliminate my thoughts would be
Well, wait a minute,
saying like the
Larry.
Holy Spirit, please do not say anything more to me.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But you just said that you went through your whole life not knowing anything. So then you waited for the thoughts to come to you as guidance.
Well, and it came to me because I was trying to survive and figure out how to exist, instead of getting swallowed
Yes.
up by the world or life.
Well,
Or
yes. But when you are in trust, you are not trying to figure things out yourself.
when I'm in trust,
Yes. When you are
ah,
in a place of trust,
that's my problem.
yeah,
That's my
you're,
even now. Trust is my problem. Yeah,
yeah, because when you're in trust, you can rest in peace because you've
correct,
turned it over to a higher
correct.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. And I didn't know how I could trust getting a job, or how I could trust paying my bills, or how I could trust, health conditions, or how I could trust calamities that came over, and it was like I had to figure out something or listen to some kind of what my next step would be, and that's why I trusted my thoughts.
Okay,
And the
but
thoughts were good
that's
thoughts, but there's some
yes. Okay.
deranged thoughts also.
Okay, so when we're not in trust and we're trying to figure things out on our own, we're trying to survive, okay?
Correct.
And in that idea is the belief that we are separate from God, that God has abandoned us because we don't even think about God. We're
But
just on our own.
God's not going to get me a job
Well,
or
yes,
put more
God.
money in my house to pay for the utilities and stuff,
Okay, well, why not? God takes care of
the birds and
all
everything else.
of
I
well,
know the
that's
story.
that's
I know
what's
the story.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all Saint Francis was teaching.
Um, I think we hit on a key that I need to work on, and it's trust. I have serious trust issues in authority figures, and sometimes I don't even trust God. Forgive me, for my sins, but sometimes I feel like if I don't make it, it's all done. It's over, and I've done it better than a lot of other people that came from the same place I did, and I think I'm a pretty darn good person and have done a lot of good things, and so, but I do need to trust, and I don't know how to do that, and that's what that's my next challenge. How do I trust? I can read all this stuff and hear all this stuff and say, okay, let go of your thoughts. Everything is okay. Just trust that the right thing will
Well,
happen.
you have to go to the place of recognizing, okay, that I don't know everything. So we have to go to a place of recognizing that there is a higher power, that is the will of God and that is perfectly loving.
I know that place, yeah, and
Hmm.
I believe that place, and I do not know anything. It's surprising how little I know, but it's still, I can go to the higher power, but I still have to be the one responsible for taking the action to overcome whatever it is I'm trying to um, overcome.
Um, yeah,
Anyway, that's
yeah.
it's this is the higher power I believe in, and I know that God is powerful and loving and compassionate, and I read that He's always there, and I think I'm at one with something like that, but uh, the trust completely part, I feel like I still have to get out and do the work. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
All right. Let's go to number two.
yeah.
All right. The constancy of joy is a condition quite alien to your understanding. Yet, if you could even imagine what it must be, you would desire it, although you understand it not. The constancy of happiness has no exceptions, no changes of any kind. It is unshakable, as is the love of God for His creation. Sure in its vision, as its creator is in what he knows, happiness looks on everything and sees it. It sees it is the same. It sees not the ephemeral, for it desires everything be like itself and sees it so. Nothing has power to confound its constancy because its own desire cannot be shaken. It comes as surely unto those who see the final question is necessary to the rest, as peace must come to those who choose to heal and not to judge. Um, okay, so the constancy of joy is really part of what it's saying here at the very end. That it is a choice to heal and not to judge. So it's really letting go of judgment and staying in the place of non-judgment because we recognize we do not know. And so the mind is open to receiving guidance from the Holy Spirit. Um, and that's the only way that we can keep constant joy in our life.
What do you mean by constant joy? Like I, I don't do feelings very well, and I'm not sure I
Non-changing.
experienced joy until like maybe 5 years ago. And when I felt it, it was really extreme. and it's come back many times, often, and the joy sometimes makes me cry. So it's so wonderful. But how? What do you mean by constant? Can you be in a place of on this
Uh,
journey in a constant joy? I don't. I think not.
yeah, you can. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, you can be in a place of constant joy because that is the mind's natural state, and it's a place of non-judgment. So that the only reason why we are not happy is because we judge something as bad, not to our taste. We disapprove of it. We have it associated with past unforgiveness or past beliefs that it's going to hurt us or attack us, or it's um, or we go into fear. So so the recognition of, let's see, of so the discernment of what is true from what is not true is what keeps us in a place of inner peace and constant happiness and joy. Okay. Because then we're not what's the word, taken off track. So any kind of ego thought that we buy into, that we value or that we believe in, is going to take us through a path of fear and away from love. And since there's only two thought systems, there's a section, the two emotions, either love or fear. And it's going to give us two perceptions, uh, one of the real world and one of the world that is false, the world of separation and illusion. So so the experience of joy and happiness as constant is part of the perception of reality as being the only thing that is true. Okay.
That's the true
Meaning,
vision.
meaning,
Yeah.
yeah, meaning that everything is the same. Everything that God creates is the same. Let's see. So there's no need to judge. There's no need um, to differentiate based on uh, the mind perceiving differences in the body. We're not seeing the body. We're seeing we're seeing a loving creation in everyone that we meet. So
I would,
we're going to be treating everyone the same. We're not going to be differentiating between our judgments of, oh, this person's really attractive, this person is gross, this person is unattractive, this person is whatever, maybe appears to be very wealthy, this person appears to be maybe houseless. We're not going to have to deal with any of those differences. So we're not reacting. There's no reaction.
I would guess that, and that sounds beautiful, and sounds like desirable kind of a vision. I would guess that if we were there, we would no longer be in our bodies.
No, no, that's
We'd
not
be we'd be
true.
out. We'd be done because
We're,
we're living in a world where everybody doesn't do that, and so then
but
we have to.
well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of being the light in the world. If we're just trying to be like everybody else, then
Or if we're in a place of not judging people, not having any opinion, not expressing any perceptions or projecting anything on people except peace and happiness and love. Uh,
we would be a blessing to everyone we meet without even needing to say a single word.
hmm, hmm. Okay, thank you. New way of looking at it. I thought that was when we get out of here, and that's what the heaven is, or that's what the beyond is.
No, the you don't have to let go of the body or die to awaken. That's the whole process here. That's why we're here. We're here to awaken to the truth, right? We're here to recognize the truth of our true created nature as the Son of God.
And if we're happy and joyful, that means that we've accomplished why we're here.
It means that we are learning the lessons that God would have us learn. And the more that we're able to do that, the more that the whole mind is healed, and the more that that we can be a blessing to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
thank you.
Okay. So let's see. Is that I think number three, Larry?
Number three, reason will tell you that you cannot ask for happiness inconstantly. For if what you desire you receive, and happiness is constant, then you need ask for it but once and have it always. And if you do not have it always, being what it is, you did not ask for it. Hmm. For no one fails to ask for his desires of something he believes holds out some promise of the power of giving it. He may he may be wrong in what he asks, where and of what, yet he will ask because desire is a request and asking for, and made by one whom God himself will never fail to answer. God has already given all of that he really wants, yet what he is uncertain of, God cannot give, for he does not desire it while he remains uncertain, and God's giving must be incomplete unless it is received. Hmm. Is that saying that we only get joy and happiness when we ask for it?
Well, yes, but it's also saying that God has already given us everything. Okay, so
Correct.
we already have everything.
So we
Now,
should already be joyful and happy.
and if we're not, it means that there's something wrong. Okay, but it doesn't mean that God has not provided everything for us already. It means that we are blocking the awareness of that truth. And so the course aims at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is our natural inheritance. It has already been given to us. Um,
I always use, if I'm feeling inner peace, I'm one with myself or all that is, or love's presence. And if I'm not feeling peaceful, then I get a chance to look at something going on. And so it looks like this applies the same thing to happiness and joy, which
mhm.
I classify different than peace, right?
Oh, well, no, you don't want to classify them differently because they're all gifts from God. They're all blessings, right? So, so
They
happiness,
all are.
joy, yeah, happiness, joy, peace, gratitude, let's see,
You're
love.
saying you can't have one without the other.
Right,
So
right.
if I'm feeling peaceful, then I must be joyful and I just don't know it. And I must
Y-
be happy and I just don't know it if I'm feeling really inner peace.
yes. So inner peace is health. That's from the course. Okay. And health means I am in my right mind. So I'm
Correct.
not feeling separate. I'm not feeling I'm on my own.
Correct.
So I'm not miserable. There's no misery because I recognize that I share in the power of God. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
no mystery is happiness. Yeah. No
Thank you.
suffering, no suffering. So, okay, number four. You who complete God's will and are his happiness, whose will is powerful as his, a power that is not lost in your illusions. Think carefully why you have not yet decided how you would answer the final question. Your answer to the others has made it possible to help you be already partly sane.
Hmm.
And yet it is the final one that really asks if you are willing to be wholly sane. Um, okay, and remember that the last question here was, and do I want to see what I denied? Because it is the truth. So it's asking us whether we want to see the real world rather than this world of illusion. Okay. And why would we want that? Well, because it is the truth. Okay. So that means that there is a recognition there that um, that to not want to see the truth is simply to want to see what is meaningless. Okay. And that we no longer want to see what is meaningless because anything that is not eternal, anything that is changing is basically meaningless. You can't, there's no constant to see to it. You can't count on it. You can't depend on it. Um, it comes and goes, it changes. So there's all this uncertainty around it. So why would that be attractive at all? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to be wholly sane means that there is no longer any part of our mind that values what the ego offers. That's what that last question is saying.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Number 5.
Number 5. What is the holy instant but God's appeal to you to recognize that He has?
To recognize
What
what?
is the holy instant but God's appeal to you to recognize what He has given you?
Mhm.
Here is the great appeal to reason, the awareness of what is already there to see, the happiness that could always be yours. Here is the constant peace you could experience forever. Here is what denial has denied revealed to you. For here the final question is already answered, and what you ask for is given. Here is the future now, for time is powerless because of your desire for what will never change. Here is the future now, for time is powerless because of your desire for what will never change. For you have asked that nothing stand between the holiness of your relationships and your awareness of His holiness. Hmm.
Okay. So this is the holy instant here, and um, it's it's the recognition that God has already given us everything and we lack nothing. And therefore, we are always in a position to share that with one and everyone. You see, so that all of our relationships would then be holy relationships because we're not coming from a place of need or scarcity or demanding that the other person provide something that we think we don't have, or we're not coming from the needy self that is limited and incomplete because we recognize that God has given us everything and that the mind is the causal level that shares in the power of creative love. um, and that's where the constant happiness and peace is. Hmm.
It's already there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's coming from a place of giving rather than trying to get.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And removing the blocks that keep you from being there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Okay.
recognizing that there's nothing, there's nothing that the world can offer because we have everything. So now we're here as a only as a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I always, one of the things that's really important to me and something I spend a lot of time with is all there is love, and the blocks to love's presence. I believe that very strongly. I see it in my life a lot. And so I look at removing the blocks to love's presence, but I've never included that with happiness or peacefulness or joyful. And I can if I desire to be more joyful more often, or more happy more often, or more healthy more often. And all I need to do is I can remove the blocks to that because it's already there. That really means a lot to me. That helps me understand. That's what's mine to do in when I'm being instead
Yeah.
of doing. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of thinking that you have to get happiness, that happiness is out there or peace is out there, and you're always trying to get it or find it or seek it, you come from the other way and say, oh, okay, it's all of that's already been given to me. Okay. And if I'm not experiencing that, then there are blocks that I need to release to the
Yeah. And
awareness of that.
yeah, and the blocks are my judgments, my opinions, my comparing, my et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, Larry. So that's the section for today.
Woohoo, early one
Early.
today.
We are.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your thoughts and your wisdom. Thanks, Eloisa.
Thank you. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for
Next time.
joining. All
Bye
right.
bye. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.